you one thing, if a little green man pops out of me, I'm shooting first and asking questions later.
You are on the verge of destroying the entire universe.
Welcome to the Strange Podcast with Sam and Logan.
If you enjoy the show, please go to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you're listening, and please give us a good rating. If you want to share a story or have ideas for a future episode, you're welcome to visit us at www.thestrangepodcast.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Hello everybody, this is episode 11, The Deciphered Possession, and I'm Logan Marks.
And I'm Sam Baxter. Today's December 17th, 2017.
Today we're going to be talking about the Ammon's possessions and undeciphered writing.
Yeah, sounds like some good stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing like a good possession to get you around Christmas, huh?
Well, I started watching Ash vs. the Evil Dead.
Oh, yeah, you just barely started watching that?
Yeah, because I'd never seen it because it was always on Stars, and I don't have Stars, so
okay.
They put it on Netflix. They put the first 2 seasons on there, so that's all I did this week when I was watching.
It was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was awesome. I really liked it.
You know the part that I really liked, that I always liked was, remember how Ash is just such a dumb shit, and and he's always talking to what's the guy's name? The guy that's on there?
The Pedro guy?
Yeah, Pedro. So he's always talking to Pedro, and he's like, Pedro, you should be happy of your Mexicanness. He goes, but I'm not Mexican. And he's like, that's the spirit.
I know. He was like an asshole. I know he's such an asshole, but that's what I liked about him.
I know, me too. It's funny though.
Because nowadays,
like, that's the spirit.
Because nowadays everybody's so politically correct, But
I know
Ash, he was there to defeat evil, but he was just a fucking common guy. He was like a jerk.
He was
sometimes, but like deep down, you knew that he was a good guy.
Give me some sugar, mama. Remember the old ones? Oh man,
I just remember the Army of Darkness.
Yeah,
where he's all like, with his horse blanket.
Yeah, that chick. She all gives that blanket. He's like, yeah, I'll give this to my horse. She all slaps him. She all made that or something for him, and yeah, I'll just give this to my horse. She's like,
yeah, you're such a dick.
She's like, fuck you,
I know.
He was such a jerk. I know, but I always remember that was funny, that part. I'm not Mexican.
You couldn't help loving her, man. Yeah.
That's the spirit. And even the girl, she just kind of like, you can tell she wants to laugh. Like when you're watching it, you can tell she's like, you motherfucker. Like Ash is such a jerk, but he's so funny. That show's really good.
Yeah, the first there's a third season, right? I didn't really look into it because I just finished watching them like a couple hours ago.
Oh, did you? You finished the 2?
Yeah.
So it's 2 seasons, and the third one will probably be coming on.
It's coming out in 2018.
Yeah. There's no February 2018 is when the new episode comes out.
Yeah, I can't wait. Hopefully. Well, I'm gonna have to wait until like Netflix gets it. So it's gonna take me a little bit longer.
Yeah, it'll be about another year for you.
Yeah, so I'll be there.
But don't worry, I'll watch it and I'll tell you everything about it. I'll give you play-by-plays.
I'll spoil it.
I'll give you horrible descriptions. And then he shot that demon, and the demon was trying to kill him and have sex with him. And, yeah, it was it's funny, man. That show's good, and what I like, it's not a whole hour, so it doesn't take up a bunch of your time.
Yeah,
you can binge watch it like just in an afternoon, a quick afternoon.
Yeah, it went pretty quick, man. Before I knew it, it was all over, and I was like, no,
I know.
I need more watch.
I know. I remember the first one season ended, I was like, damn, I was bummed, and then I had to wait a whole year for the second one, and it was just as good as it picked up. But
yeah,
but it was it's a good show. I can't wait for season 3. And you watch anything else? You watch Star Wars yet? Star Wars just came out this weekend.
No, I haven't watched Star Wars.
The Last Jedi. I heard it did pretty well. $220 million in the United States and $450 million globally, just for the weekend, I think.
Really? Well, yeah. I mean, everyone wants to see it, so
it's killing it. I'm sorry, Frozen, but I think your record's gonna be taken down. Those princesses are gonna be out on their asses because I think Star Wars is just kicking ass now. I'll probably go see it this week sometime. Or this weekend, next weekend, Christmas weekend.
Yeah, we're probably gonna go see it in a couple weeks. So I don't like going to theaters when it's all packed and stuff. No, there's everybody in there.
Those are the worst. Those are the worst. And I'll admit, I did the first ones, episodes 1, 2, and 3. I did those, 17, 18 years ago. I did those, live the nights of. I'm not doing that anymore. It's not really my deal to be around all these nerds and all these idiots. And they just kind of ruin it for you, It's like no matter what, the movie will be great to them. I mean, I don't mind being a fanboy, but some of them can be annoying and they stink. So I don't know if some of them don't shower up or what.
The first 3 I thought were pretty good. And when they did the prequels.
Oh, yeah. Episodes 1, 2, and 3.
They weren't horrible, but they weren't as good as the other ones.
Well, did you?
That's what I thought.
Did you ever hear about the story how they thought that Jar Jar could have been the actual Phantom Menace, the Sith Lord? Did you ever see those on YouTube?
No.
So I know. Look, you laugh, man. You laugh, but I'm telling you the truth. They did a lot. If you watch some of the shows, the videos that people put together, it looks like Jar Jar could have been the actual Phantom Menace. Mm-hmm. And it looks like he's like actually like a Sith Lord. He's it talks about like the robots not liking him because a Sith Lord, they can't control robots, right? They can't control their minds. It looks like there's certain scenes where he's like fumbling around in the back before things get broken, like on ships.
Yeah.
And when they end up finding Anakin, he's always there around there, but it looks like he's always you don't notice it in the movie, but he's always kind of like mouthing things, like when the princess is talking, he's always like kind of mouthing on the background, like he's telling her what to say. Remember how like Obi-Wan can control your There was a lot of stuff like that, and it showed every time he was by the Chancellor, the Emperor. Every scene that they were in the same scene together, he was always standing next to him. Yeah, really? there's just a bunch of stuff that shows and how he's always like whenever he's talking to Anakin, he's always like making fun of the Jedi to Anakin. Uh-huh. So it's kind of like teaching him like how to be like how to be rude and not be respectful to them.
Disrespect them.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of little things like that you don't really catch it when you're watching the first one. You just think it's just him being real stupid because that's what he acted, was like a bumbling idiot.
Yeah.
But they're saying that he was probably really a Jedi, and it shows like a scene where like those battle droids, like when Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan jump down from a ledge. It shows he tries to jump down too, and it shows the droid shooting one way where you saw him jumping off screen, but when he jumps down, he's like farther down the way. Like somehow he was able to get across the terrace, and they were shooting at him like, wait a minute, you were over there. How would you do this over here? Like he had some type of being able to move like a Jedi. Yeah, there was stuff like that they show that these were little things that we didn't catch was watching it, but when you tear it apart, if you really tear it apart, you could see.
And these are on like YouTube?
Yeah, there's a YouTube video. I can send that to you. I sent it to a few people. Like every time I told them about that, they laughed. They thought it was stupid. And I sent it to them. They're like, holy shit, this like might make sense.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's like a flat earther video that you sent them, and they're like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Man, the earth may be flat. I think I do subscribe to that. I'm one of them.
I've changed my mind.
I know.
You have conventions and stuff.
I knew it was fake. I knew the
Jar Jar
astronauts fake. I knew there's no space. Yeah. Yeah, there's a video that it really goes to that, and it really looks like, and it talked about how George Lucas had said that Jar Jar was a key, but he didn't explain what it was. And then if you notice, like remember the first one ended and how everybody hated Jar Jar? He was such like a piece of shit, and they all hated him. And and then in the second one, he hardly had anything. Like George Lucas kind of like cowered down and
cut him out.
So I'm not going to use him. And then we had Count Dooku, somebody we never heard of. He was just kind of thrown in there. I mean, we didn't. There was never any mention of him in the past. All of a sudden, he just kind of fit. Oh, Dooku, you are alive. It's like what? It just. I thought it was like a shitty filler, to be honest. Like when Dooku came out, that's why I didn't like it. I thought that Dooku sucked, and I didn't know what his whole. They made it sound like there was a whole backstory to him, but we didn't know anything about that.
He's like came out of nowhere.
Exactly. It's like, oh, you are. It was just kind of dumb, and. I'm somebody who likes a lot of continuity and for things to like match up and make sense, but that didn't make sense. So to me, that blew it in that movie. It was a shitty filler. That's how I feel. But I'm not saying that that I wanted Jar Jar to be Sith Lord, but after watching that video and showing how it could explain how he could have been, I wouldn't have been mad either. I would have been totally.
You'd have been like, "Oh man!"
All of us, everybody would.
Nobody would have. Nobody would have saw it coming.
Nobody. It would have been perfect.
Yeah,
it was just like how Vader, I am your father.
Yeah.
Luke, I am your father. Right.
Yeah.
Nobody saw that coming.
People would go back and watch the movies and talk about how great it was.
It's like, oh my god, I didn't see those.
It's a masterpiece.
Why didn't I notice that?
They just kind of snuck it in on us.
And Lucas just kind of, again, if this is true, he kind of backed down, he cowered down, and he just said, "Oh, okay, I'll just, I'll give the people what they want. No Jar Jar." And again, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like Jar Jar at all. But if, like I said, if that would have turned out for him to be the true Phantom Menace, I would have been like, holy shit, he fucking got me.
Mind blown.
Yeah, I know. Worlds have crashed. Because I would have been like, fuck, that motherfucking Jar Jar.
Oh well, yeah, you can't trust Jar Jar or George Lucas at all.
Motherfucker. But that's just me.
Yeah, well, okay, we better get into the stories then.
All right, so what do we got about possession?
So LaToya Ammons moved into a new Indiana home with her 3 kids, and everything was going great with only some small annoyances. You know, at the beginning they were small things that were happening, and they just assumed that it was just like weird stuff that was going on, but it was nothing that major. Like they would hear noises in the attic that night, and they just figured it'd be just animals, you know, rats or whatever crawling on the ceilings and stuff. And then they had this enclosed porch, and for some reason it was like infested with flies, and they would keep killing them, and no matter what they did to get rid of them, they would just keep appearing. And it was kind of weird because it was in the middle of winter when this was happening.
Oh shit, they're not supposed to be around.
Yeah, they should all been gone. And then another thing was when they were out, the neighbors would tell them that they would see the shadow person, like they would look through their window, like they could see through the windows, and they would see this like person in their house, like a shadow casting.
Just like walking around?
Yeah, like somebody was walking in their house and nobody was home because they would be gone.
Okay.
So those were just kind of weird things, and so as things went on, but things started to get worse. So on March 10th of 2012, 3 months later after they moved into the house, LaToya Ammons and her 12-year-old daughter and her 2 sons, one was 9 and the other one's 7, started having these extreme supernatural experiences in their 3-bedroom house. Or one night, around 2 a.m., she heard her 12-year-old daughter screaming from her bedroom. So as Ammons and her mother, Rosa Campbell, both run up there, and then they witnessed that their daughter was levitating. Her daughter was levitating over the bed.
Oh shit!
So yeah, so she was unconscious, and so they're like confused and frightened. So they don't know what to do. So they go around her and they start praying. Mm-hmm. And eventually she starts lowering down to the bed, and the girl wakes up, and she has no memory of what happened.
Oh shit!
So that was the first of like the really major ones. They start like going, okay, there's something going on.
Yeah.
So Ammons, she didn't know what to do. So she calls around some of the local churches. So they finally got help from one of the churches that told them that the house that they were living in had a lot of spirits in it. And they recommended that they would clean the house, or they would
cleanse
the house. That they wanted to go around and clean everything with bleach and ammonia, and to use oil to draw crosses on all the doors, all the windows. So Ammons...
Was it a specific type of church, like a Catholic church, or...
It didn't say. It was just like, I think it was just a regular, just Christian church. It didn't say
okay
what kind. So Ammons did just that. She went and she got a bunch of stuff and cleaned the house, and she even got like olive oil, and she rubbed it all over her kids' hands and feet and smeared like crosses on their foreheads and did all that stuff. And she also got in contact with a couple of clairvoyants. And they told her that the house was infested with like over 200 demons.
200?
Yeah, 200 demons. And
Holy
they recommended
shit.
that they recommended that they create an altar in the basement where they thought the demons were coming from, and put a little altar of religious statues and candles. And Ammon started praying, and she burned some incense to clean the house out again, but spiritually. And then after that, for a couple days, or 3 or 4 days went by, and nothing was going on. So she thought she had got rid of the problem. So the kids started acting really strange. The 2 boys.
What happened?
So one day, Ammons found her 7-year-old boy inside a closet talking to himself. So she's like, walking around. She's walking around. He's in there by himself talking, having a conversation. When he comes out, she was asking what he was doing, and he tells her that he was talking to his new friend. And she's asking, like, "Oh, what were you guys talking about?" And he says his friend was telling him what it was like to be killed.
Oh shit!
So she's like, "Oh shit!" Like, that's pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So not long after that creepy encounter, Ammons claims that she and her daughter were looking for their son in the house one day, And they went everywhere, and then they finally went into the bathroom, and the boy was standing there in the middle of the room.
Same boy as before?
The same boy,
okay.
7-year-old boy, standing in the middle of the room, and he was like in a trance. And then all of a sudden, he was like picked up by some invisible force and thrown against his sister, leaving her injured badly enough that she required stitches on her head.
Oh wow!
So at another time, Amos they had another incident, and Amos took the kids to the doctors, and things started to progress to the point where the Department of Child Services had to involved.
Thought the mom was hurting them.
Yeah, so while they're at the doctor's office, one of the DCS reports said the doctor claimed that at the office, Amos' 2 boys began thrashing around and cursing at the doctor while he was examining them. And when the other staff were called in to help, they saw the youngest of the 2 being lifted up.
Oh shit!
Thrown to, so they had like actual reports from from these medical professionals saying that they saw the kids be lifted up and thrown against the wall.
Damn!
After that violent reaction, the 2 boys passed out.
How did the doctors take it?
Well, they were all freaked out.
Scared as shit, huh?
Yeah.
Damn.
So one of the medical staff, they called 911. Emergency personnel showed up, and they ended up taking the boys to a Methodist hospital that was nearby. And when the 2 boys later woke up, the older kid, the 9-year-old, was acting normal. But the youngest of the 2, he wouldn't stop screaming and began thrashing around again. And he said that they brought in a bunch of guys, and it took 5 men to hold the 7-year-old down.
Jeez.
Because he kept thrashing around, and it took 5 of them.
5 grown men, huh?
Down. Yeah. So eventually he calmed down, and he fell back to sleep. And when he woke up, it was almost like nothing had happened.
Yeah. What's going on?
Before all this, many people had reported Amos to the DCS, asking the agency to investigate her. So before this happened, people were talking shit, like, oh, I think she's hitting her kids, and because they're always getting hurt, and they believe that Ammon was mentally ill, and thought that she was, encouraging her kids to act out as if though they're possessed, to fulfill her delusions.
Wow.
Of possessions and all that.
Sure.
They thought that she wanted to act as though she's dealing with demons rather than hurting her own kids. So the DCS, they end up starting an investigation, and they conclude that Ammon was of sound mind. The crazy thing is that during the investigation, one of the case handlers interviewed the family. That during the interview, one of the young boys started talking in this deep voice, like a demonic voice.
Oh shit!
And then began threatening the brother.
Threatening the brother?
Yeah, there's like they started kind of going at each other, and they were just threatening each other. When his brother became hostile and started headbutting his grandma. Oh dang! The younger one, yeah. And all of a sudden, all the crazy broke out. You can go to the reports, the DCS reports, and the case handler said that the 9-year-old boy glided backwards, like he floated backwards, hit the wall, and then he floated up the wall, and then he floated like his feet were hanging from the ceiling, like a bat.
Oh shit!
And then he flipped over and landed on the floor.
Oh wow! Damn, some damn acrobat, huh?
He's all fucking Batman.
Join the circus, shit.
Yeah. So after that experience, the case handler said that she believed that the family were under like some sort of evil influence, while also suffering from mental illness. So the state decided that for the safety of the children, they needed to remove them from the home. Okay. So after she lost her kids, Ammon turns to a Reverend Michael
Jordan
McGinott. Michael Jordan. Michael McGinott. After hearing her story, he agrees to do the interview with the family at their home after a Sunday mass. During the interview, some strange things happen. So while they're in the viewing room, the lights in a different room starts to flicker, and curtains in the other room starts to move around. They also investigate the house and find that something was leaving like wet footsteps on the floor. And they're also claiming that that they would witness the footsteps appear before their eyes. So they'd be looking around, and they'd find these footsteps, but then they would just kind of show up while they were watching the footsteps walk across the room.
Dang.
So as the interview goes on, Ammon starts complaining about a headache. So Maginot takes out a cross and places it on her head, and she starts convulsing all over the place. After that, he's like, okay, there's something going on here.
now there's something going on.
Yeah. So after the 4-hour interview and investigation, Maginot is convinced that the demons are involved and maybe some ghosts. So he Mignot decides to sprinkle holy water everywhere and prays and starts reading from the Bible and tries his best he can to cleanse the house. And he tells Ammon's to leave because he fears for their safety. So that day, Ammon she gets all her stuff and she moves over to her relative's house. And Mignot, he goes off to go get backing from the Catholic Church to do an exorcism, because apparently he could do one, but he says that if they get backing from the church, that the exorcism is stronger.
Really?
And it becomes more powerful. That was what he was claiming.
Oh wow, that's interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah. So a week later, after he takes off, the DCS handler, they come in the house and they're gonna do some interviews, and they bring two police officers, two Lake County police officers, to check out the conditions of the house. So Ammon, she takes him in, but she refuses to go inside. She lets them go in there, and the two officers and the DCS handler are in there, and they start looking around. So the officers go through the place, checking every room, then finally head down to the basement, and they see that makeshift altar that Ammon's had created.
Yeah.
Along with some rings and salt, because she had been pouring salt around the basement walls, because they say that it keeps out demons.
Okay.
Or traps them in the basement.
Putting salt down does?
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a wall, a barrier for them.
Oh, is there any reason for that?
I don't know. I've seen that in other when other people talk about like protection stuff, they always tell you to put salt around your bed or whatever. If you believe that you're being attacked by demons.
Maybe the demons don't want high blood pressure. Shit, I don't know. Fucking salt. Okay, so they got the salt down. So what do we get? So they get it down.
So they take it down, right? So they start taking pictures, and they take pictures of the basement, the stairway that was in the basement. And when they get these pictures back, they realize that in the stairway, in one of the pictures, in the image, there's a white cloud in the corner shot, and when they enlarged it, you could see a face, some sort of evil face in the image. And when they enlarged it and they looked around more in the picture, they could see under the stairway, under the third stairway, they could see a face of a female person.
Oh shit!
Underneath the stairs, looking at them through the stairway.
Oh shit!
Yeah. So they're they're kind of this is getting too creepy. And they notice under the stairway, the concrete floor that supports the stairs was cracked. And one of the officers, it gives them an eerie feeling, thinking that they had the idea I think there's something buried under there. In the Lake County officers' report, the two cops say that during their interview, one of their audio recorders kept malfunctioning. Well, the other one, when they did play back, the other one that worked, when they kept playing back, they kept hearing whispers of somebody that wasn't in the room, saying, "Hey, hey."
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
real
and
audio.
So after the investigation, Officer Austin reported some small incidents that happened on his way home after they did the investigation. He said that when the car, his car would move when you get near it, it would try to move away from him.
The car?
Yeah, they said the car would just move.
Like Knight Rider?
Yeah,
Kit?
kind of like Knight Rider. And
the fuck?
And then he said when he finally got in his car and he took off, that the police scanner just malfunctioned.
Jeez.
And then when he got home, his garage door wouldn't open. He says all this shit was going on.
When he got to the bathroom, the toilet seat wouldn't come up. When nobody couldn't shit or piss.
I tried to wipe my ass. There was no more toilet paper.
It was all chaos. So then what happened?
And they came back because you remember that cement thing that was cracked?
Yes.
So he decided to come back, and when he dug out, he dug 4 feet deep underneath the stairway, and he says he found a pink press-on fingernails, a white pair of panties, a political pin shirt, a lid of a small cooking pan, and some socks, and candy wrappers, and some metal object. So he believes that there was a demonic ritual that went on, and they buried stuff there for it. Okay. That was just his take on it, but he believes in this stuff a lot. So I think all this stuff just kind of went to his head, and he kind of took it more. exactly what it was.
Gotcha. So he felt like that's what it was. No
Yeah,
matter what.
yeah. He already had that in his mind.
Okay.
So
He's
okay,
gonna see things a little bit more that way.
yeah. Some time goes on. So in June 2012, Meganot, he finally gets approval from the Catholic Church, and they begin doing an exorcism on Ammon's. So they look up the names of all the demons, there, because I guess there's certain demons have certain names, and they go through and they find who they think is there, and trying to find out which ones are causing them trouble. And so after that, Megan goes to town. He starts doing exorcism on her. He's putting the cross on her head and screaming all this stuff out, get out of her body and all this stuff.
Yep.
Berating the demons, rubbing the crucifix all over her body. And the two cops, the Austin and that other cop were there too, just in case, like, if she went crazy or whatever, they were there to help her restrain her. And they said it took 3 major exorcisms to release Ammon from the demons.
How many demons were there?
I guess there was a lot. It didn't say specifically how many, but I guess they said there was quite a bit where they had to do 3 times.
Jeez.
So eventually, by the last one, she was all tired and she finally went to sleep. And then after that, she said that when they started doing it, she stated that during the ritual, she was hurting all over from the inside out. Like, it was like really painful for her.
Damn.
So she's got exercise. Everything was done, and through all this, after all that stuff happened, she did what the Child Protective Services wanted her to do. She did all the regulations that they had to go to get her kids back. So after that, she did the exorcism, and 6 months later, she got her kids back, and now she has full custody. And they finally moved out of the house, and they just never looked back.
So did they know exactly what was it? Just from that cop or whatever doing the investigation, they just thought that maybe some witchcraft had gone on there or something.
Some people were some people were claiming that she was doing witchcraft, and that's why it happened.
That the mother was.
Yeah, so everybody had everybody had some little theories, and
everyone has the answer, right?
So, but like the DCS, they believe that she believed in demons so much that she was making her kids do it.
They were acting out on her behalf or something?
Yeah, and they would do it because they were saying, like, sometimes with the kid when he'd be in school and they wanted him, like, oh, you do your homework, then he would start doing it. Or if it was something that he didn't want to do, he would start acting up and doing that.
Oh, so he was just...
So I think he was learning that kind of a behavior, where that's
Gotcha.
how he would get what he wanted.
Gotcha. So they never truly knew or found out what it was?
No, well, they believed it was demons, and they exorcised them and got them out. And
was there any difficulties with the exorcisms?
Not really. But the weird thing is, like, the guy who owned the building, or who owned the house, like, he never had any problems before or after.
So it's kind of like the Amityville case.
Yeah, so I don't know if maybe it's like...
Isn't that what it was with the Amityville case? Same thing?
Something like that. Well, I think it's like she couldn't make the payments, and they were probably going to kick her out, so she was starting some crazy shit, Oh,
I gotcha.
That's what I think. But
I understand that, but aren't the churches have a rigorous criteria to meet before they would do something, an exorcism?
Yeah, but I mean...
those kids have to feel it?
Yeah, but I mean, they had like reports from the DCS, and they had the cops saying stuff, and they were like 100% behind it. So the church probably thought, well, if they have that much documentation, then...
So okay, I get that. That makes sense. But how about the levitation stuff? How do you act that out?
Well, from what I've read from other cases like this, that a lot of times when they take video exorcisms, people go in there and they claim, oh, the guy walked on the wall and he climbed up and did all this crazy shit. And then they go back.
Yeah, but how about the doctors, though? You said the doctors.
Oh, no, but what I'm saying is they go and people claim they see this crazy stuff, right? But when they go back to the video, the guy might have done something like it, but the people embellished how amazing it was.
So you're saying your eyes have been tricked?
Yeah, because you're witnessing this stuff, and then all of a sudden, someone's acting all crazy, and then they kind of do some weird contortion move or whatever, and your mind's like, oh, your blood's pumping, and you're just excited. It might seem a lot more exciting to you, or much more dramatic than what it was. So I mean, I believe they saw something, but I don't think it was actually.
You don't think the kids walked on the walls or whatever?
I don't. No, I think maybe the kid was able to run up and do like a flip and probably fell down on.
I mean, that seems weird that a doctor would be convinced that he saw that.
Just because he's a doctor doesn't mean he can't be convinced of something.
No,
like that.
But I'm just saying because he's more. he sees things more that way, right? He sees things more scientifically and medically versus
Well, I mean,
versus as a shaman or something. I mean, he's supposed to be more like on it on that type of stuff.
that doesn't mean they're infallible about what they see. I mean, they witness something and maybe.
I get that. All I'm saying though is for a doctor to come out and state that in a statement. He must have pulled off some pretty tough contortion stuff. I mean,
like I said,
I'm just saying.
I wasn't there.
If it was something like you or me, if something like that happens, are you gonna really be telling people? No. And to document it down on an actual form where your name goes next to it, that's even more. You risk losing credibility.
Yeah, but there's doctors that they do like alternative medicine stuff and.
Is that what this guy was?
Well, I don't know what he was, but I mean, just because they're doctors doesn't mean they can't be tricked or fooled.
So I think a lot of those alternative guys, I'm not sure if those are actual doctors. I think they just call themselves that. I think those guys are actual hacks.
But you're saying just because a guy's a doctor doesn't mean you can't be fooled or tricked. I mean,
no. I'm just saying that. I'm just feeling like if he did something, if the kid did something, the guy must have been really fooled. Or he must have really believed it because that's a lot of shit to say.
Yeah, I know, but
I mean, like I said, but I mean, if it was like, just anybody, some Joe Blow, the mom, she could just make all that shit up, right? She has nothing to lose, but not paying rent.
I mean, it could, like I said, it could have been a doctor who was like really religious, also, because there's religious doctors and they, they'll believe in stuff.
I'm curious about that. I'm curious about that. Somebody who's really, really religious, like maybe somebody could. Chime in and send us a mail or something. Let us know. Like, if you're really religious, are you going to believe that? Or are you going to feel like that's BS?
Yeah.
Are you going to accept that? Like if you're really religious, are you going to be like, oh my God, I saw a demon? Or are you going to be like, nope, the power of God's around and there's no such thing as demons to do this?
I just guess depends on the person.
That's what I'm just saying. That's what I'm saying. I'd be interested if somebody could write into us and, maybe let us know. Yeah. Send us a mail. Let us know about something like that because I don't know. I'm not that religious to know anything like that.
If you're out, tell us about some experience that you had, something that you saw that you're a logical thinking person, and maybe you saw something that maybe questions.
You can't explain.
Yeah, you can't explain. It makes you question how logical you are.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's got to be some stuff like that. I've known a couple people that I know that they're really logical and they really believe in science, and they've seen some things that they're like, man, this kind of fucked me up. I won't go into anything right now because I don't know if they would want me to share it. I can ask them, but I mean, there's a few people I work with that have said things like that I know that they're very intelligent and they're very, and I know that because I've went over ideas with them but they've seen like one or two things in their life that like it just kind of fucked me up. Like I don't know what to believe now.
Yeah.
But everything else is still, there's just that one blip in their whole life, one small blip where they question things, and the rest, everything's just straight. Like there's no this, there's no demons, there's no ghosts, right? But I think there are UFOs because one day I saw blah blah blah, right? And
everybody has their sacred cow. They have
exactly.
They have that one thing where they like I saw Batman.
Yeah, you're not gonna tell me otherwise. I know what I saw. And I do know that the eyes, you can't trust your eyes because your eyes can be easily tricked.
Yeah, because it's the way your brain perceives things, and
exactly.
And your eyes are not really designed to catch everything. You can only focus on certain spots, and everything else.
Isn't that how magic works?
Yeah, well,
magic is a lot of trickery, right?
Well, it's like when you see stuff. I mean, you can only focus on certain things, and everything else is kind of interpreted by your brain to keep it into a solid image.
That's interesting. A little quick thing when you said that though about that. I had a friend that I grew up with, and I've always liked hearing these stories ever since I was a young, small lad, and I remember him telling me one time, and he was like scared telling me. He was telling me that one time, in the house that he grew up in, he said his parents they told him this, that one night they went to check on him because they heard like some loud noises. And they went to go check on him, and they say when they went into the room, he was walking on the wall.
Oh, I remember this story. I do.
Yeah, he was walking upwards on the wall, and he got to the ceiling when they yelled for him, like, Jimmy! And Jimmy's like, and they grabbed him, and they pulled him down, and then when they pulled him onto the bed, he, like, woke up, and was like, huh? Like, what's going on? But yeah, he said that they told him, like, you were walking on the wall, you were walking, almost on the ceiling. And so when you said that made me think of that. That made me think of when he had told me that. And he told me that, like, in, like, 6th grade,
Because
7th grade.
then they say like he slept walk a lot and like he would just like walk on crazy ass places.
No, not this guy. This guy, he didn't sleepwalk. He did at that time. He did when that was going on. Because I think that happened. He said that happened a couple times where his parents had to wake him up because he was like walking on the walls. But I don't think I don't remember if he actually said he sleptwalk around the neighborhood or around the house. I don't think he said that. But that one he was scared. He was telling me he was actually scared. Like he said his parents were scared, and he said he was scared. And I remember him being scared. I guess he was telling me, he was like, man, he goes, I don't even like recounting this story.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I mean, again, who knows, right? He could his parents might have just thought he was. He might have just been, climbing up the wall or like reaching for something. Who knows, right? Middle of the night, maybe his parents were tired and they didn't know. But I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, or maybe he was like trying to like crawl up the wall, like.
Yeah, and his parents thought he was actually doing it.
He's gonna go up, like they thought, oh, he's gonna try to crawl up the wall. We better take him down before he does.
What's also weird is how they always talk about and you all see this in shows. Whenever like people trying to catch things, they have a recorder on. Whenever the exact thing of the ghost or the entity comes in, the camera always fucking fucks up. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like man, these motherfuckers like they know that you either believe it or you don't. Like you either see it and accept it, or you see it and you deny it, because the camera's not going to give you a lot of the proof that you want. Audio will, but it seems like the video doesn't. Notice that?
Well, yeah, because I think most of them are fake.
No, I know, you know what I'm saying, but I'm just saying, like whenever the people try to catch something, like a real thing.
Yeah, like the camera gets all shaky and you can't really tell what it is, or it's blurry.
Well, or it'll just black out, and then it comes back on. But there's some video out there I've seen like where it's supposed to be like real hauntings, and it shows like the surveillance camera like inside places, like inside like chairs moving, and again that could be all fake.
It's just tough now with video because like everything could be fake so easily now.
I know that. I know. I'm not trying to claim everything's real.
I know, but I'm doing. But it's just interesting. It's like what if there is one or a couple that are real? Like.
But you're not gonna believe it.
You're not gonna believe it because it's so easy to fake them.
Yeah, exactly.
Which kind of sucks because I would love to see a real one. Something that would just blow your mind. You're like, oh my god, how did that happen? But it's too hard to.
It's hard to accept.
To accept it, yeah.
Yeah, because the people who are self doubters, that they feel like it's all fake. They're just gonna say that it's BS, right? So. It's a tough. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll know, and one day we'll not. I mean, maybe one day revelations will come, and demons will walk the earth.
And then Ash will come out and with a chainsaw and start chopping everybody's head off.
Yeah. Then we'll need Constantine to come out and help us out.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that movie?
I love Constantine.
That was a good movie.
So what do you got about Undeciphered Writing?
Yeah, there's been stuff there's been like a lot of writing, obviously stuff that we make now, who knows, like maybe in another 500 years, like the next evolution of civilization will find some more stuff and be like, what the fuck with this? What are these letters?
Yeah, I've seen some stuff about people have written books in the past and like nobody knows what they're about and they think they might be like magical spells or potions or like medical things that people have done in the past.
Yeah.
But nobody knows how to get them.
Exactly. So this one I think you might be talking about is called the Voynich manuscript.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one that was it was found in Rome in 1912 by some Polish-American book dealer named Wilfred Voynich. So it's basically, they got it dated back to like the 15th century, and it's a illustrated codex of some unknown writings. And there's like about 240 pages in the book, but there's a few that they think are missing. So it's so weird. The writing and the coding is so weird that like hardcore coders, from World War II and World War II and World War I tried to decipher the manuscript. Haven't been able to do it. Professionals, amateurs been trying to do it. Can't do it. So what they think that they know about it is that the text is written from left to right. And most of the characters are just a simple 2 strokes. Not real tough, not real difficult, but just 2 strokes. And a lot of the illustrations from these manuscripts are really weird and really odd and actually intriguing. It's like pictures of plants, diagrams, creatures that have never been seen before, like organisms that were like spliced, like mermaid like characters, like beasts.
Like they took the
Like they put two things together
and they dissected it.
No, not dissected it. Like they put them together. They're like I said, it's like a mermaid like creature, like a half horse with like, it's like a front, like the face, the body of is a horse, the front of it, the back legs look like some weird like beehive type thing with wheels at the bottom of it.
Oh, well, that's weird.
Yeah, and tons of weird plant-like items, like humans, half bodies, serpent, like combined with serpents. Just weird shit like that, man. If anybody has not seen this, look up Voynich manuscript. It's really odd, the pictures. And they thought, like you were saying, they thought it maybe was like manuscripts addressed like for like medieval medicine, just like a pharmaceutical type medicine book. And they think it comes from the European language, like using some unknown obscure cipher, but they don't know. It doesn't make sense. What it is, they can't decipher what any of the glyphs are in the book, any of the manuscripts. But it's weird because it's influenced like other books and paintings and movies. But it's just so odd and so weird that they just can't decipher it. It just doesn't make sense. It's like a book that was just kind of thrown here from like either another universe, another time, like a time way before ours, or shit, who knows, maybe even a parallel one. But it doesn't make sense.
Because when I read this, when I was like looking up this stuff a long time ago, I mean, because books weren't easy to make. It's not like now where they just print stuff out. Like somebody actually, spent some money, spent some time
you have to have paper and ink
make
and all that stuff
to make these books. Yeah.
And there's, like I said, there's illustrations and a lot of writing, and there's lots of writing, but nobody knows what they mean. Of course, and you can look online. There's people like, oh yeah, it's been debunked or it's been deciphered, but it's so far I haven't been able to find one that it seems like people are just kind of like, oh yeah, I know what it is, but they're just giving you their thoughts and theories.
Yeah, on the Wikipedia page, it makes it look like they have them deciphered, but I don't think they were.
No, not them. I'm saying there's been other. You can go to people's like websites. I think it's like clickbait stuff.
Oh.
Like, yeah, I figured it out. I know the secrets to the ancient pyramids. And you click on it, and it's just somebody's giving their opinion. Or, this is what it is.
So it is like a sell to you for $19.99.
Yeah, exactly. Just pay me. Just keep giving me your credit card, and I'll tell you why. So that one to me was the Voynich manuscript was really odd, really really weird. But another one that's like the oldest one is called the Tartaria tablets, and this was discovered in 1961 in a village of Tartaria, Romania by Nicolae Vlasa. And so when they got these tablets and they dated them, carbon dated, and they found them to be back to 5300 BC. So these ones are like the oldest ones that we have found on Earth so far. So there's been 3 tablets found. Two of the tablets are rectangular, and one of them is round, like rounded edges, and they're only like 16 centimeters across. But one of the rectangular tablets and the one circular one, they have like holes drilled into them in the corners. And
what are they for?
They don't know.
Oh, they don't know.
Fuck no, they don't know.
You just wear it around you put your penis in
there. Yeah. You can fucking wear it like Flavor Flav had this clock on his chest, on his necklace.
So it's just something so when the girl's sucking your dick, she has something to read.
Yeah, here you go. Enjoy, bitch. So some light reading while you get to work. So basically, like the tablet that doesn't have any holes in it, it has like it like the tablet like depicts like horned animal, some odd figures that are unclear, like vegetable type motifs and like branch like stuff. It's just, it doesn't make sense. These writings basically what professional scientists, they think that they're the earliest form of writing in the world because of how old they date.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so they think that the symbols have been around since the 19th century, as the symbols belong to like to the Danube civilization, and the Danube civilization, Danube, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, is one of the oldest civilizations in Europe, and they think it like predates that.
So is it older than the Sumerians?
I think it might be. I think the Sumerians might not be the oldest writing that we think that they were. I think this one predates that.
Oh, okay.
That's what it sounds like.
Wow.
So it's basically the inscriptions are like sequenced in rows, but they're not sure if they're supposed to be horizontal, vertical, or circular type writing. They don't have like a basic script to them. It doesn't look like they just go like from left to right. Like I said, it could be up, down, left, right, circular. And doesn't know what type of sequence or writing system they're representing. It doesn't fit with anything. At the time of the dating, the 5300 BC, there was no signs of literacy back then. So if there were any type of writing, it was mainly for record keeping or organization.
Yeah.
And the area that they found them at was not an organized area. So there was really no technically a reason to have any type of writing or a language for writing. So a lot of people think like maybe these things are just a hoax. Like what's the point of these?
Yeah.
Maybe somebody just like fucked around and just made these and threw them somewhere, or it could just be like maybe a language lost over time.
Yeah, they look like maybe they might be something for a ritual. Like.
Yeah, they could be, and some people also think, of course, the easy answer is aliens. Yeah. Could the aliens have shown them, given them some type of data to work with?
Yeah.
It's not really known. It's not. It's so old and it doesn't make any sense at all. There's no like rhyme or reason. There's no consistent like pictures or. So
the people that claim that it's aliens, what do they think the rocks are for? Then what would the purpose be for the aliens to create these
because there was no literacy back then. So why would this even have been, if they're dated to 5300 BC? Why would there even be this type of manuscript? Like who could have shown them? Why would they have even had this? So I don't know. Basically saying that maybe the humans were not smart enough to do it on their own, so they had to have external help.
Oh,
I mean, isn't that the story of the Sumerians? Yeah, that's what they say. The Sumerians, how
that they had help from alien.
Oh, they knew of that. They knew. I shouldn't say they had help, but they knew of aliens coming down and splicing the Neanderthals with their DNA to create Cro-Magnons.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, because the Neanderthals were too stupid. They couldn't teach them anything because they needed them to mine gold. I guess from their planet their atmosphere was deteriorating, and they needed gold to help save it. So they came here to get it, but they didn't want to do the work. Right? They're too smart. They're too. I'm not gonna get off my ass. So they had the Neanderthals, but the Neanderthals were too stupid. So they spliced some of their DNA, hence the missing link allegedly, and this is what made the Cro-Magnons. So the Cro-Magnons were able to, were smarter, could achieve more, had different types of levels of intelligence, and they were able to wipe out the Neanderthals too. The Neanderthals were too stupid to fight them, right? Cro-Magnons could make traps and all that stuff, so they wiped out the Neanderthals, and they mined all the gold for the aliens, and the aliens bailed. That's what the Sumerians, that's what their texts talk about. Again, they're saying that this predates that. Well, if it predates that, like, how do they even have any type of influence, or why would they have even done this? I mean, that's what people say. They don't know, right? It's easier to just kind of make up something than to find an explanation.
Yeah.
It's always easier to do that.
I mean, they're pretty cool looking.
They are. They're not bad. They're just weird, right? They don't just make any sense. Again, maybe they're nothing. They could just be like someone like fucking grocery list.
Grocery list. I gotta go pick up a bison.
I know. Why don't you your way home, bring home some steaks, get a bison. No. And if we have time for one more, I just kind of want to talk about one more quick one.
Yeah, go for it.
We all know Easter Island, right? Easter Island is, for those who don't know, it's a 64 square mile off of the coast of Chile. It's like 2,300 miles off the coast of Chile, I should say. So it's pretty far out in the middle of the ocean. Not in the middle of the ocean, but off of the mainland. I think it's like a 4-hour plane ride to get there. It's just a little island. And that's where the giant heads are. Those moai heads?
Yeah.
Okay, so
The big faces.
What's that?
Yeah, the big face ones.
Yes, and those were created by the Rapa Nui. They were the inhabitants there between the 10th and 16th centuries, and they always thought that the Rapa Nui were killed by like maybe Europeans who showed up, and there were rats that stowed away, and when the rats got to the island, there was an abundance of food there. Well, so the rats flourished, and the people the food was eaten quicker than the food was grown. So then the people died, right? That was kind of a thought. But they've also been finding later on now that, of course, the Europeans did have a part in it because they enslaved them. They basically had enslaved them, and disease and such had decimated the Rapa Nui. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't probably the rats could have been. I mean, that's also very plausible. But again, slavery might be a better. I mean, better
more plausible theory.
Yeah, theory, because there was a lot of slavery going on. So basically, the Rongo is a system of just a bunch of glyphs. They found them in the 19th century on Easter Island, and it appears to be like a proto-writing, like a pre-writing type style. The Rapa Nui language, Rongo means like to recite or to chant out. Basically, there's a bunch of glyphs on wooden objects, and about 24 of the objects to this day have been found. Some are damaged, some are burned, a lot of fakes that have circulated out there, but there's only been about 24 real wooden objects that contain the Rongo, the glyphs. The weird thing about these is that the texts are written like in alternating direction. So like you can write forwards, backwards. It's known as a reverse boustrophedon. So like I said, it looks like the writing goes both ways. They can't really decipher how or why, because a lot of the deciphering of these writings, like the other ones, have been made by scholars and professionals, and they can't decipher what these writings mean. So some of them think that some allegedly think that it might be some type of genealogical information. They thought it was just like a new language, like a new independent language, right? Because they were kind of far off on their own on their little island, and so they basically they were like their own world, right? If you wanted to be a flat earther, that would probably be a place. I mean, there's nothing else. You don't see anything but ocean, right? On your little ass island. So basically, the glyphs themselves are like outlines of human, animals, plants, artifacts, geometric forms. Just basically those type of symbols. And most of the human and animal figures have protuberances on each side of the head, like they represent eyes. So like maybe they do represent the humans on there, or again, it could be an alien type thing they represent. But they think that basically like the wood was carved through like with like shark teeth, because a shark tooth is sharp enough to make the glyphs on there.
Oh really?
Yeah. they were sharp enough. They used them as like they carved them in that wood with a shark tooth.
Oh,
so
nice.
Yeah, I mean, use what you got, right? Some people think that it's like a mnemonic device. It doesn't represent language at all. Like it's like I talked about the proto writing. They think that it was like some type of special text or some writing that like maybe like the priests back then only they knew how to write, like a secret type of code. And when they were all put together, only a few of them knew how to read them. Like maybe it was their history, maybe it was their future, maybe it was just certain special things that they needed to keep, right? The religious priests there had to know it that the other people didn't need to. So they think whatever it was, only those maybe select few knew how to read them all, but they're all gone now, right? So there's also so they figured that to put them all together, it would be for their own benefit, to get all the wooden pieces to serve them. But they think to this day only one portion of the tablet has been partially deciphered, and they think it has to do with the lunar calendar. Again, just like the Voynich manuscript or the Tartaria tablets, there's no answer to what any of this is. They're all undecipherable. They're all. I mean, how can you decipher something that has no? I mean, these aren't even mathematics. At least with like the Unabomber, like Ted Kaczynski. Remember when he was leaving all those notes to the FBI? All his stuff was mathematically, made. These are not like that. So, again, I don't know how an archaeologist would figure this out.
Yeah, so they have people who can like code breakers and stuff like that.
Yeah, but for stuff that doesn't, there's no language to it.
No, that's true.
That's the tough part. That's the challenge, and that's been the challenge, right? There's been no headway on this at all.
Yeah, it's just kind of sucky because I really would like to know what they say, or if they had any kind of special meaning, or
exactly. Yeah, I mean, lots of people would. I mean, why not, right? These are things that have been found like in tombs, or like, you know, way deep in cliffs, or I mean in caves. And so, you know, it's like, oh my God, you know, this is some ancient writing, just like you know, all the stuff in the caves and all the drawings.
Well, when they were trying to get rid of like toxic waste, I think one of the issues that they were saying they had was they didn't know how to put a sign up to tell the future people what was in there.
Oh, like to stay away.
Yeah, to stay away, because if you think about it, I mean, you know, you don't know what can happen with civilizations going maybe like 1,000,
like 2,000 years on the year. They might not have a totally different language.
Yeah, somebody digs it up and it says like "stay out," but I mean to them it's like, what the fuck?
What is this? Yeah. Oh, it must want me to look into here.
Yeah, it's like, it must be gold.
Yeah, I'm rich, bitch. So yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I guess you can always do like the skull and bones, right? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
It always works, you know.
Yeah, like you always see that. It's like, all right, I'm not going any further. You know,
or like the Mr. Yuck sticker.
Yeah, yuck mouth. Yeah,
it's poison.
I know. I don't know this language that they have, but I know what this means.
But that guy doesn't look happy.
Yeah, we're out of here, people. Let's abandon this multi-million-dollar excavation. Yuck mouth here says we can't go on. I know that's really interesting. I mean, and that is true. Like, what are you gonna do for the future, right?
Yeah, because I mean, languages change, culture changes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like again, there could be some type of, you know, nuclear war or something where only like a small amount of people survive, and over the years, you know, their physiology or whatever their, you know, digresses and changes. And
yeah. Well, shit, you try to read Shakespeare. Fuck, they don't talk the same way we do now.
No, yeah.
And that hasn't been that long of a period of time.
No, you're right. It's like, it doesn't make sense, and definitely, I'm sure in the future there's stuff that won't make sense either to them, just like stuff now doesn't. Can you imagine going back in time to a time like this?
Hopefully they find time travel and we can go check everything out.
Man, if time travel is real, somebody has had to have. There's got to be somebody that's already traveling around, right? I mean,
Doctor Who.
Yeah, I'm something, right? I'm just saying, like, there's got to be something. Do you ever remember the old movie, The Time Machine?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was always a favorite of mine. I always thought about that. You know, how he went so far in the future and how humans had basically went back to zero. Remember, they're all like cattle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be the case, right? I mean, eventually you have to achieve greatness. You got to go through some of that shitty hell, right?
Just like when we go through all these wars and stuff, I mean, you got to rebuild, and sometimes you rebuild for the better.
Yeah, you'd hope so, right?
That's the goal.
That is indeed.
I just wish I wish we had like a way to figure out what most of those things are saying.
I know.
Like,
again, many people do, mathematicians, everything. There's like I said, then you see online, you see all this clickbait where like, yeah, it's been deciphered. It's like, no, it hasn't, because then you would really hear about it like on some.
Yeah, it would be on like a reputable news.
Yeah, exactly.
Not on
right?
YouTube.
I know, like all that stuff. Like on did you ever watch that show Destination
Truth?
Yeah, that's it, Destination Truth. You know, they'd always go out looking for stuff, but we're going out looking for Bigfoot. Well, you know they didn't find anything because there was no news on that. You know, that was the only problem. I liked the show, but it was like, man, you know, they don't find anything because there was never any news about somebody. Because remember when the guy allegedly they killed one and they had it in his trunk, in his cooler. Remember they had the body of the Bigfoot in his cooler. Him and his buddy had killed it, and it was big news for like 2 days until people finally got their hands on that cooler, and it was just like a gorilla suit.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
That was about 5-8 years ago, and it was big news when these guys said, "Yeah, we killed one and we have it in our." And they showed a picture of it, right? They showed it like some type of like monkey suit, like dead, and in the cooler, but they wouldn't let anybody get to it. And then finally people did. It's like, it's a fucking monkey suit. I mean, it was a big deal just for those 2 days when they were like claiming fame. You know, like, yeah, we killed one, and it was like everyone wanted a piece of that. That's the way it would be, right? You know that we would hear about something like that.
It wouldn't be like on some 15-year-old's Facebook page.
Yeah, I know.
That always pissed me off too, because there was this TV show, and it was like Monsters, or I can't remember what it was called, but it was like they would talk about like Bigfoot or like the Loch Ness monster, just a bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah, cryptozoology.
Yeah, the cryptozoology stuff. But they would go through the whole thing. You'd watch it for whatever half hour that it was, and then at the end they would be like, "Well, no one's ever gonna know the truth," and you're just like, "Well, why the fuck do you have the show on if you're not
not
gonna tell
me?" Exactly. Why am I watching you guys try and fucking fail?
At least give me some new information, or
that you don't. That's the thing. And that's what we try not to do at the Strange Podcast. We try to give you some good, enlightening information. Stay away from those other people, folks. Come to us. Well, I think that should be. I think we're good for today.
Yeah, we're coming close to the end, so let's go ahead and get the hells out of here.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for listening. So
everybody, stay strange.
Yep. Have a good morning, evening, or night, and we'll see you next week. Until then, stay strange. Bye, guys.
If you enjoy the show, please go to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you're listening, and please give us a good rating. If you want to share a story or have ideas for a future episode, you're welcome to visit us at www.thestrangepodcast.com. We look forward to hearing from you.